I'm Father Robert Balliser, host of This Week in Enterprise Tech on the TWiT TV network. I'm here at Enterprise Connect 2015 Orlando, Florida for No Jitter, and I'm sitting next to Enzo Signore from 8x8, who's going to tell us a little bit about what it means to be compliant in an EC world. Enzo, thank you very much for talking to us.
Robert, good to be here.
Now, you have a few exciting announcements for the show. Tell me about a few of the services that 8x8 has let out into the wild.
Absolutely. Actually, in the last month, we have announced many new capabilities with our service. We started about 4 weeks ago with an announcement of Virtual Office Analytics, which is a groundbreaking technology that is available to both IT managers as well as to line of businesses to better understand utilization of their network with the 8x8 service. The second one we announced yesterday, actually, here at the show, the Elite Touch program. So many mid-sized and large enterprise customers want to onboard, want to come over to the cloud service, and they have a complex environment, multiple locations, remote workers, and so they want to be onboarded quickly with the 8x8 services. So we now provide this service to enable them to be part of the 8x8 families in a matter of weeks. So it's a start from the network assessment all the way to the post-sale activity to make sure that the customer is taken care of across the entire journey. And this morning we have announced the Enterprise Suite packaging. We're bringing all of the capabilities that an enterprise would need to deploy their solutions through the cloud, including Elite Touch, but also we've announced the end-to-end SLA, first in the industry to provide an end-to-end SLA over the public internet for both uptime and quality of service, in addition to the full complement of capability of the service.
Wow, that's quite a range of announcements, but I keyed into one in particular, and that's exciting analytics packages and services that are now available. Yes. Now, big data has been kind of the rage for the last, I'd say, 18 to 36 months. But one of the things about big data is that it both has a potential for wonderful data points, for some incredible analytics, but it also can be a cautionary tale for companies who don't treat it properly, who don't look at their privacy policies, who don't look at what they're offering their customers. What does 8x8 do in order to give the benefits of big data without those pratfalls?
That's a great question, great question. We actually started developing a big data infrastructure for our own usage. We had clearly hundreds of thousands of endpoints in the network, and we want to provide the highest level of uptime and quality for our customers. So we wanted to understand what was happening in the network at any moment in time. So we built a big data infrastructure. We have messaging and signals coming from each of the endpoints coming to mothership on a regular basis, so we can see in real time the performance of every single endpoint, every single connection. And then when we look at the data, it says, well, actually this data could be helpful for our customers, not just for ourselves. And that's when we package the Virtual Office Analytics portfolio. So through three products available within the suite, we can make available, for instance, so we can now measure the historical and real-time performance of every single extension on the network. Imagine you have an inside sales team, for instance. An inside sales team wants to understand how many calls are coming in, how many calls are being responded, how many go into voicemail, how many calls are actually not ever responded by the end of the day. So if you're running a marketing campaign, you may be leaving 10–20% of your leads untouched because you don't have enough capacity or the wrong allocation of resources. How do you know that? That's what Virtual Office Analytics can provide you.
Wonderful. Let's piggyback on that question just a little bit. UC has become sort of, well, it's the norm. Everyone understands they need to deploy some sort of UC solution. But what are the biggest pitfalls, challenges, drawbacks? What are some of the biggest failed deployments that you've seen?
I would say you're absolutely right. Now we can communicate, the technology is very mature, we have all the modalities, and we see this in RFPs when customers are looking for, do you have the right features, do you have the right instant messaging, document sharing capability, video collaboration, interoperability. Pretty much the industry has solved this problem. But there is another set of questions that we see seldom being asked by the customers. And it's more about regulatory compliance or security compliance. So let me give one example. In the US, there is a standard called HIPAA for healthcare. Now, in the traditional, stricter sense, HIPAA compliance was only mandated for companies that are actually dealing and providing services where private personal information is shared. Now, in reality, since 2013, that mandate has been broadened now to anybody who's actually creating, transporting, transferring, or even storing personal healthcare information. So in the US, represent about 50% of the companies that are dealing with this. And so even if you are a subcontractor in a big scheme providing healthcare services, multiple layers down in the supply chain, you might be required to provide HIPAA compliance. And so enterprises, companies that need to look at their suppliers, like the cloud communication vendors, and make sure they have a third-party validation to make sure that the company themselves can be compliant with HIPAA compliance.
I'm glad that someone's doing that, the HIPAA compliance, because I've heard that sort of compliance has been an absolute thorn in the side of enterprise, especially in the last year with all the breaches.
Exactly right. Yeah. And there's a significant amount of liabilities for companies. In California, for instance, there is a liability for up to $50,000 per customer for a potential breach of personal confidential information.
Right. Enzo, thank you so very much for talking to us. Thank you for bringing to the forefront some of these things that customers need to think about when they do a UC deployment. Now, of course, they should come to Enterprise Connect. They should speak to you. They should speak to your representatives. And if they were to come to the show, where could they find your booth?
We're going to find a booth 1513. And here on the show, we have demonstrating all the capabilities of the service. We have showing new video capabilities, new analytics for our contact center solution. We're showing the integration between contact center and unified communication. Very important to enable companies now to enable every employee in the company to serve their customers, not just the contact center agents. We're showing the full suite, and then we actually some fun activities on the booth with the NASCAR car simulator.
Actually, I passed by that the other day. I think I'll give that a go. If they can't come to the show, where can they find out more information about 8x8 online?
Of course, on 8x8.com, all the information is available there. We have a video channel capability. Of course, we have a social media communication, and all information is available there.
It's Enzo Signore from 8x8. Stop by and see if maybe they can help you with your UC compliance. I'm Father Robert Ballas here, and we've got more. Stay tabbed for Enterprise Connect 2015.